Again, technical difficulties. The DVD player isn't working for the intro.
Maybe we should move that chair. Since
I don't know.
here.
I don't know why I look so white.
I know. Look at me. Look. How do I look?
Yeah. You look normal.
Yeah, right.
I got a cold. I know I'm a little pale, but not quite that pale. So, anyways, here we are back for a new season at Disaster Central.
Does it start already?
Yeah, today starts a new season.
No, I said, do we start?
Yeah, yep.
Oh my gosh.
We're on, right, Trish? Yep.
Oh wow.
Just no music because the DVD player isn't playing.
Oh, welcome,
So-
welcome, Kevin. Happy New Year.
Oh,
Oh, did we?
light
did
just
our
burned out,
burn
Trish.
No, we look really good, don't we?
Now I look.
Is this intentional?
I think she's somewhere flicking the switches. This place is a mess.
Maybe we need to start our own station, right?
Yeah, we get here this morning, the phones are shut off. You can't get in the front door because it goes through the phone system. And you beep, 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 the number you're calling is not in service at this
anymore.
time.
But you know, I don't think this
So-
is the only station though, because when I try to call people out, it will tell me the same thing.
Yeah.
That the
Hold on
phone
one
is
second,
no
let's-
longer working.
Live television here.
Maybe we should just tape it.
Let's see how this makes me look.
Okay, now it looks a lot better.
Okay, now at
Well,
least I don't have that shadow down the center of my
Yeah,
face.
and I don't have the shadow either.
So, but
Well,
this place has been a disaster for years.
you know what?
It continues to
I
be a
think,
disaster.
I think we really need what we call a revival.
No, I think we need an exorcism is what we need, get the devil out of here. But, you know, it's sad because this is supposed to be the public's television station. Now she can't pay the phone bill, but she can buy surveillance cameras.
Oh,
So
and she
Trish
wants-
is under surveillance in the booth all the time
I
now.
don't think that's what it is. I think she
Well-
wants to make sure nobody's taking the equipment from the store.
There's not
right?
much left to take.
Because that's what I was told. Because everybody
All
comes
the
in and
laptops in the edit area are gone or broken,
take. Oh
damaged.
yeah. Oh, so we
Well,
just.
one of the other things, it was interesting because I was on Jonathan Small, one of our regular callers. I was on Jonathan's TV program that he runs over
Oh,
on
you made up.
Stan McCauley's.
You made
No, I
up
never.
that.
I just, I wanted to ask him that question. What have you done for Hartford? But anyways, he had me on his program this morning on Stan McCauley's network.
Yeah, that show is really
Oh.
good, and it's nicely done.
I was gonna say night and day.
I know it
You
is
go in there,
nicely
the
done.
equipment is state of the art,
Yeah.
teleprompters, and
Yeah, and he's in a small little place.
Stan is a class act. He knows what he's
Yeah.
doing. He was a class act when he was here. Unfortunately, this board of directors wanted to go in a new direction.
I know. We
Um,
thought it was for the good, but
It definitely, when the new direction they went in was down the tubes. Come on in, Henry, if you want to sit with us. We got an empty seat. Jerry's not here, so we'll
but
let Henry
anyway,
come in. But I just want to talk about Jonathan's show this morning. One of the questions he asked was about my upbringing and family life and things like that.
oh yeah,
And I said one of the things that I learned from my parents at a very early age, the only thing you have is your reputation and your integrity,
yeah,
and you need to tell the truth.
right.
And as Mark Twain once said,
Even if it kills you, you
no,
have to tell the truth.
it's something, and I remember because Chief Ravella saw it at one of the swearing-in ceremonies. It was carved into the brownstone behind the stage. But Mark Twain said something. If you never lie, you never
don't
have to
have to-
remember what
yeah.
you said.
Right. I have a sticker like that.
You get in trouble when you start telling lies. Then you've got to remember what the lies were to keep them going. Otherwise, you get caught.
Yeah.
If people look at the back of our set here, the studio that's behind us,
They'll think we actually.
we were the first
studio.
ones. That's called chroma key. We were the first ones here at Public Access that did that with the help of Naisha McCauley, Panasonic, Trish. We spent a lot of hours on the phone with Panasonic technical support to figure out how to set it up and how to use the mixers here to do it. It was a little disturbing to me that in the Christmas message from the executive director here, she claimed responsibility for being the first one to bring chroma key to Public Access. That is a bold-faced lie. She wouldn't know how to come in the studio and turn a light on if she had to.
Not just
The woman is a liar, doesn't know the difference between truth and her lies, and anybody that's watched us knows we were the first ones to put this chroma
Yeah,
key
you
up.
did.
The other part is she said she brought in a whole new staff here
Where?
at Public Access. The reason there's a whole new staff is because she drove all the people that were here out. That's why there's new people. You know, Naisha McCauley was one of the most responsible employees you could ever have here. Loved training people, loved teaching people, loved doing her job, loved putting council meetings on the air. She finally reached her boiling point, said enough is enough, I gotta leave for her own sanity. So it's not because the executive director, Billy Screws everything up, has done a great job here. She's driven people out of here and run this place into the ground. And I'll let it go at that, but anybody that's been watching us knows what the truth is, that we were the first ones to bring chroma key to Public Access. And as a matter of fact,
And it looks so professional, you know?
as a matter of fact, she did everything she could to stop us from doing it by taking the screen down behind us, removing lights from the studio that we need to light the screen, the green screen behind us. So,
You know, it's kind of sad because this only enhanced the station,
Yeah.
the feeling of, you
we've
know,
gotten so many
enhancement.
compliments on how it looks behind
Exactly.
us.
So why would anyone
Right.
wants to, you know, sabotage something like
What's
this?
the saying, Henry? The truth will set you free.
Truth will set you free.
Yeah.
And it's sort of strange that you mentioned this stuff though. When you take up this place and how, to me, it haven't evolved into anything.
No, it's gone down.
It's going down. It's going backwards, man. And my understanding is that if anybody's doing something to uplift or bring a new face to this, then that should be something that the executive director would appreciate.
It should be embraced.
When's the last
yes.
time anybody approached you as a producer here and said, "Hey, can we give you some extra training to enhance your program, to put different things out?"
Or
It's
come
never
up
happened.
There's no
or
such
come
thing
up
as
with
training.
new ideas
No.
how we could do things differently.
No, but
how
she
we can
claims she's
improve.
doing all kinds of training.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
anyways, let's get off of her.
But
Go on to other
anyway,
issues.
I want to make my announcement about the
Oh.
NRZ meeting.
You got a
It's
much
coming up already.
you've got a much bigger announcement than that to make,
Which one
sister.
is that? Which one is that? Oh, I'm a grandma?
I'm sitting next to Granny Hyacinth.
Oh, please.
Yeah, congratulations.
That's
on that.
okay. I'm a grandma
Congratulations.
and I'm very proud of it.
Right.
I don't feel like grandma.
She had a grandson born to her family
Yes.
right before her first one.
Yes.
Right before Christmas.
Look at, did you hear what she said? She don't feel like grandma. No, because you're gonna be mama.
Yeah, I'm gonna be mom.
You're not gonna be grandma. You're
No,
gonna be
I don't see that happening. Hyacinth is one of those people. We have a lot of, and I don't say this to be mean, we have a lot of weak families in Hartford with no structure, where the grandparents are forced to raise children. Hyacinth is not that type. She has been,
Mike?
her family and her kids have been some of the strongest, most polite, well-behaved, well-educated people that I've ever had the opportunity to meet.
But you know that is to me that's one of the
That's a-
major things
that's
that's
a parent.
missing. Yeah, that's
That's what
why
a parent does.
Yeah, that's what a parent does, and that's why when we talk about things that
Parenting involved.
perpetrate stuff and bring about things, it's because of the structure of the household more so than anything.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't want to take the show there,
But I want to talk about my announcement
Okay,
this week.
go ahead. You may-
Okay, so
That NRZ means more to her than her
hello
grandson.
everyone. Oh, they're all intertwined. Yeah, so I want to wish everyone a happy and a healthy new year. It's beginning to look like a new year, and I'm hoping that people will find new ways and means of making this year a meaningful year, or make every day that you live in the earth a meaningful day. Help someone, do something for someone that's meaningful. But anyway, I just wanted to mention that this coming up week, it's the Maple Avenue Revitalization Group this coming Thursday, 6 p.m. at St. Augustine Church Hall. And my person who's going to be showing up to this one is our superintendent of school, Christine.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Because she was supposed to be at something else this week, and they said
counseling.
She
she
said,
canceled. Trish, I don't know,
well, I haven't got
something's going on with this light here.
You can see everything up front, and he's writing down everything.
It went off. Now it's coming back on. It's like extremely bright, and it's making us
and
look.
making you look so
Yeah,
look terrible.
bright.
Look terrible.
So anyway, well,
You're
I'm
making
hoping-
Henry look white. That's
You know that's bad. You know that's bad. Hey, let me look dark like I am.
It's
You
not
know.
bad, Henry. It's not bad. It's just hard to do.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm hoping, and then we have.
I needed that joke. I needed that, man.
We have
I'm sorry.
I don't even know what I'm looking now. I'm looking like
Yeah,
Casper the
right.
Friendly Ghost.
Yeah, right.
you are
Yeah,
about
you're right.
right,
I look
man.
like friendly the
Like
friendly
what they
ghost.
say, man, follow the light, the white light. That's Kevin. You
I'm
know.
the only one that looks good up there, right? And Henry, right?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Oh,
light just went out again,
The
Trish, so
light
we're okay.
just went
We're-
out again.
All right, well, let's ignore the light, okay?
Yeah.
It looks nicer like that now. So anyway, and I have Craig coming. No, the reason I invited the superintendent, these two things I wanted to talk about, and one of them is the first, is the vocational program for our young people in the schools. I mean, when
Or the lack thereof.
there is none, and we want to talk about how we're going to do that to bring our young people back to school, to have them
Well, that-
actually succeed.
That
in
was one of the
something.
things Jonathan talked about this morning,
Oh, yeah?
is how I got into my own business and everything else. And I
Because
said, college is not for everyone.
everyone, right?
You know, if everybody was destined for college, where would you go when you need an electrician, an
A
auto
plumber.
mechanic, a
Say it
plumber,
again,
a
Right.
carpenter?
Yeah.
People out there, there's very good jobs in the trades. Jobs that people need to be educated and licensed for,
Yeah.
such as electricians and plumbers. And I think we're
So
doing a big
so
disservice
that's why
by
I'm
forcing
saying-
everybody into college.
Before the superintendent came in, Adamowski, we had some kind of a vocational program with the Buckley and Hartford High and a few of the other schools. When he came in, he said, no, we don't need those things. All our children need to get to college. Well, yeah, it's all good and said, but if we are not preparing them to go to college, how are they all going to get to college?
Yeah.
But it's just
Okay.
like you said though, Kevin, college is not for everyone.
No,
And
I never went.
and
I
for
went
you,
to
and for
trade
folks to
school.
say, okay, we want you to get an education.
Yeah.
We need to get people understanding what we mean by that.
I went to
If
trade
you're
school.
good, if you're good with your hands, like carpentry,
Yeah.
plumbing, any other thing, vocational, you know, we
Yeah.
need
I
to
think
implement those
part of the problem
programs.
is, and
man.
Henry, you're out there in the streets. I think what we tend to do is, rather than treat people as individuals and know that what makes you click is gonna be different than what
Right,
makes
they
me
think
click.
because they
And
individual.
we tend to get into this cookie cutter mold that
Mm-hmm.
every kid's the same, we're gonna treat every kid the same, their future is gonna be the same, their career path is gonna be the same,
Right, and it is.
and it's not.
And it is.
Some kids are drawn to school by sports, some kids are drawn to
Exactly.
school by arts, and you gotta look and see what is
Well,
the hook that's gonna get those kids to keep an
But
interest in
did you
education.
see what's on the agenda for tonight? There is something on the Board of Education, the council agenda about wanting to build an art school, right? Well, I have an issue with that. They're taking away $33 million from the $100 million to build Weaver School, to build an art school,
Yeah.
Kinsella. But I'm saying, why do we need to do that? Why don't we have, instead of building, why don't we use
Because-
that money to hire teachers in every one of our schools, so all our children
Because
can
we
do
don't
arts
have-
and all those kind of things?
We don't have leaders with the guts and the integrity to step up and say, we're not gonna play games, we're
Yeah.
gonna start doing what's
We
right.
put another
We're
building
gonna get the
out
best
there.
bang for our buck, we're gonna do what we need to do. And I wasn't gonna go here, but I think I really need to because I've gotten so many phone calls about it.
About,
I'm sick and tired of people capitalizing on the Newtown tragedy to make a name
oh
for
my God, I'm
themselves.
so tired of hearing all that now.
yeah.
And you know exactly where I'm going with this.
I'm so tired.
It bugs me, and I don't mean this to be cold or trivialize what happened because that was a terrible tragedy.
Of course.
Our governor handled it exceptionally well,
Yeah, he
and
did.
I had an opportunity to shake the governor's hand and Lieutenant Governor Wyman and thank them
Likewise.
for the way they handled this
Addressing
and not
all that.
not politicizing it.
Yeah.
But then I see other leaders down there being photographed, putting the bouquets of flowers on the memorials.
The photo ops.
Have you ever, and I will say this exactly the way I want to say it, it's probably very cold, but have you ever seen Mayor Segura at a vigil for a Hartford homicide victim laying down a bouquet of flowers? No, because there aren't national TV cameras there. And this is not a stepping stone for someone to make a reputation for themselves by showing, oh, I'm a caring person. In 4 years I'm going to run for the Senate because look at what I've done. I've been out there.
You know, Kevin,
Let's see by your actions what you do every day, your compassion for the city and your caring.
the one thing that turns me off with Sagara and the elected council is the lack of remorse that they show for the people here in Hartford. I mean, you can say all you want. We all feel terrible about what happened in Newtown, but when I seen Sagara and Newtown, and I'm saying,
Did you see Mayor DeStefano there? Did you see the mayor of Bridgeport there? None of these mayors were down there. Why our mayor would drive an hour and a half to get down there for something that, okay, yeah, maybe as a leader you want to have your face shown and say, I'm doing something. Let the governor do it. Let the lieutenant governor do it. And they did it quite well. nobody is gonna look for consolation from Hartford's mayor to come down and try to make sense out of a tragedy.
And when he don't show any love or care for anything that happened here to people of Hartford. I mean,
He's a social worker, that's his issue. He wants to do the feel-good things. For a week before Newtown, I know the local media was trying to get an interview with him for a story that was going on. They wouldn't give him any face time. When the mayor was down in Newtown for the Sunday morning shows, it's like, oh, Mayor Segura's available if you want to interview him. And a couple of the media people were smart and said no. You know, we're not gonna give him the stage to stand on.
listen, we did a compassion vigil down at City Hall for the victims
Where was
of Newtown. I definitely love an invitation for him and other leaders, and during the time of the vigil where the mayor won't be available, but we have representation that well.
That would have been
you know,
nice if somebody from this council or
but it was
somebody
even
represents.
very few
showed
employees
up,
from
but I
City
didn't
Hall
really
stepped
see
out the
anyone.
front door. The
Exactly.
registrar of voters, I think, was out there.
Yeah, but
No council people.
no council. But where I'm going with this, Kevin, is to get back to what you were talking about. If you're gonna lead, you have to lead by example, man. You know,
And it's not a stunt.
no.
It's you do it because your heart tells you this
Exactly.
is what you need to
Exactly.
do. It's not
Exactly.
a stunt that you say,
Exactly.
oh, if there was a
Exactly.
live truck from CNN parked at the curb, watch how fast they would have all come out to get on the CNN.
This is
feeds.
this is not personal. What I'm saying here about Sagaro.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping
It
that
just
it's
that it
personal.
don't make no sense. It just don't make no sense for you to say I'm so concerned about what's happening to the people in Newtown, but yet you had 23 homicides here in Hartford.
And no one showed up.
And no one, no,
from the city
nothing. So,
representative.
so when you talk about you can about folks, you got to be careful because you put yourself in a position.
I don't want to paint this with a broad brush though, because Councilman Anderson, Councilwoman Jennings, they are doing some good things when it comes to the faith-based community and, you know, violent crime and homicide victims. Chief Ravella is doing a huge amount also. So, but I think, you know, enough people have noticed, and I've gotten enough phone calls about it, that these things tend to backfire. People know when you're not being genuine. They know when this is a stunt that you're staging to try to gain recognition.
You know, Kevin, you're absolutely right, man. It's sometimes you would think the mass motto is Hartford a safe place. Okay, man. Then let's see you out here advocating for the people that live in Hartford. We had 23 homicides. That was a perfect opportunity for this mayor to show
And he
himself.
used to show up at those meetings.
Eddie used to come,
And
but
he used to show up.
you know, we talk about we held Eddie accountable. We need to hold Sagara accountable because
Yeah.
he getting away with so much stuff,
Well,
man.
I had a couple people call me that were at a dinner party New Year's Eve. And apparently the bombshell was dropped there that Mayor Segura plans on Senator Blumenthal retiring in 4 years. And Mayor Segura thinks he's qualified to run for the U.S. Senate. I want to say, what's your track record? What have you done in Hartford?
Well,
And
Well, you know what? The people are going to see what
will
happened.
they, Hyacinth? That's the
We
issue.
hope and pray they will see.
When are the people going to rise up enough, even over this, you know, the relief for the storm Sandy, Hurricane Sandy? You know, there's so much outrage over that, the way Congress has stalled that and not voted on the relief. Will people remember who did that at election time? I doubt it. There's going to be no repercussions.
Well,
That's-
when their buildings are not rebuilt, their jobs are not there, they will remember.
but that's what we need to
But you
do as
look-
voters is
But you
start.
look at the other side, the Republican side, where they're totally in defiance of what needs to happen, even with this falling
all-
off the cliff issue.
The fiscal
You
cliff,
know?
we all know what needs to happen with that. We need to reduce spending.
Spending.
Nobody's household would survive that if your income doesn't increase, you don't spend more.
Right.
And
But that's what needs to happen in the country in general.
But even
You know,
just look at
cities
the
and towns
look at
and
the
everything.
president. How much do you think it cost the president to fly back and forth twice from Hawaii to get back to Washington while he left his wife and kids in Hawaii?
He didn't fly.
Then-
He floated in the thing.
No, he floated on
He
his
floated over
on his-
there.
on his little plastic rubber raft.
but
But he flew over there in Air Force One. Those are things that
Well, that's things that presidents do. The
Yeah,
Queen
but-
does that. If she got to go someplace, a majority of people goes with him. You know, there's certain things you can't blame people for.
But you have to have
again,
some
you have to look in
responsibility. You start
general.
looking and saying, should I
We
take a
have to
smaller
look in
jet?
general at
Yeah,
how
but
we're spending.
okay, point, both of your points. What I can't understand is why is all this grappling and arguing back and forth. You are our leaders here in America. You are supposed to be setting a precedent about what need to be done and
Right.
doing it in an
See,
exemplified way.
that's where the American people and the voters need to start rising up.
That's right. That's my point.
It's no
Exactly.
longer a matter of right and wrong. Excuse me, I'm just getting over a cold, but it's such a matter of partisan politics.
Yeah.
You can't tell me because you're a Republican and I'm a Democrat that we look at things so much differently. You say yes, I say no. When are we going to start looking
They
at what's
forget.
best for our country, what's best
They
for you
forget
and I
the
and
people.
Hyacinth, what's best for
They
Hyacinth's
forget
new
the
grandson
people.
who's going to be growing up in this country?
And you know what? This stuff had got to the point, man, where it's a big turnoff because I don't know about you, but every time you turn on your TV, we're not agreeing with that. We don't have to do it. Well, we have to compromise here. You have to give here. You have
The
to give here.
Republicans say this, the Democrats say that.
Exactly. It's bickering back and forth, man. And pretty soon you like,
It's gridlock.
yeah, this is why this country is not in the place it need to be. So many issues that need to be addressed. They are standing right here on this physical cliff. Now they talking about doing something for gun violence, gun control.
Oh yeah, just because these
What-
terrible
what-
issues
you know what,
happen,
You
everybody
know what
wants
we gonna be at, Kevin, this time next year? Talking about the same thing.
Same spot.
Same spot.
And unfortunately, more people will lose their lives.
More
Exactly.
people will lose their
Right.
lives, man. And you know, Kevin, see, I like what you said about the truth. People need to start telling the truth, man. You know, so many people don't die here in Hartford, man. In the 11 years, man, that I've been doing this ministry, over 300 people, man. And I'm not just talking about the thousands of people that have been shot by gun violence, that have been shot, man, 'cause I'm a victim of gun violence. I can talk about what I know. I've been shot. But the thing that kills me is this. We cannot allow another situation like Newtown to happen, man. Because if those folks that was sitting up there when we did those 3 marches, Kevin, you know we did 3 marches to the state capitol, and the things we were talking about was gun control, gun laws, and preventive measures about gun violence.
Yeah.
How many noted elected officials was there?
Well,
But see,
the gun
that's part of
issue-
the problem is most of our elected officials have no conscience now either.
That's the
Do
problem,
you
man.
I know, what
Do
we
you
are,
think
the
John
bottom of the
Rowland?
dribbles?
Do you think John Rowland worried about the laws around the books when he took his bribes and did what he did?
Of course he
Did
did.
Eddie Perez worry about laws around the books when he did what he did?
How about that new
No.
one down in Bridgeport? It's the same thing. You know what it's all about, Kevin? To me, what I surmise is that as long as it don't happen in the area that I represent, I could care less. But what set me apart from the representatives that are here in Hartford, I really can't understand what that mindset is. I can't understand that. What in the world are you now all of a sudden you talk about Newtown, but your own city? You don't do nothing for your own city, but you can sit up there with your colleagues, and
I
I'm not trying
I
to.
have to say though, right, with all the killings that's been going under the dog, I think something has been done. And by bringing in Chief Ravella and that task force, the shooting task force, I think something
But-
was done.
Yeah, but he can't do it by
And
himself, though.
you know what? In urban cities, you'll never stop killing. I'm going to be honest with you. There's always going to
Yeah,
be something
you're not
that's
gonna-
going to happen.
you're not gonna eliminate 100%.
Okay? But
Part
the
of-
point is that we've brought it down to really low. We used to have a killing every week, every weekend.
And this is, see, the whole
Okay.
key is that, see,
So,
I disagree
I
with
wouldn't
that
say
somewhere.
nothing has
I
to be
disagree
done.
with that. I think that we can put it to the point where we can control it. Because like you said, we're not going to, it's 3 things in this country that you're never going to stop doing.
Right.
You're never going to stop people from purchasing guns, right?
No.
You're never going to
Because
stop
they're
people from buying drugs.
Exactly.
And buying alcohol. So what we try to do is we try to put it in perspective so we can control it. Now, when you talk about gun control, Kevin, why they're not talking about the people that are bringing the guns out on the street, selling the guns on the street?
Yes, and
Because you can get a
they're
legal
coming from
firearm
other
anyway.
There's the problem.
They're coming from
Henry,
other states.
do you ever, and you may say yes, I don't know. Do you ever leave your house carrying a gun in your pocket?
No.
Do you ever leave your house carrying a gun in your, why not?
I don't have a gun. I don't
Well,
need a
first of
gun.
all, it's illegal. You need a permit to
You
do
need a
it.
permit, yeah.
I have guns, they sit at home. You know, if anybody
And
ever
they're
tried to get in
locked
my
up.
house,
And they're locked up in third
They're
place,
not
right?
accessible, I'll say that.
Okay.
But I think you gotta just restart the DVD, Trish. We're having so many problems here today. But at least the conversation is good.
Yeah.
One of the big problems is, and again, I don't say this to be mean or cold, you're never gonna legislate mental illness. There's people out there that are crazy. There's people out there that should not be on our streets, but they are.
Right.
And that fact came home as soon as, you remember, I think it was 2 weekends ago, upstate New York. Guy set his house on fire, called the fire department, and then shot the firefighters as they arrived.
So it's like a setup kind of.
Well, it eventually came out that he owned assault rifles, but even more troubling was he had spent 17 years in prison for murdering his grandmother with a hammer.
And they
That is a person that should never be on the
let
streets
out.
again.
Right.
If you can, in cold blood, if you can kill your grandmother with a hammer,
Then-
you don't deserve to see
Right.
the
So
light of
maybe
day
the
again.
justice system here.
But-
These are where they're failing us.
But
Okay.
our shootings that are committed every day on the streets in Hartford, you know how many of those are committed by convicted felons in possession of a
It's
gun,
our justice
which is illegal.
department.
And the courts need to put the people away for
Just
long
lock
periods
them
of
up.
time.
And not only that, man, when we talk about mental health evaluation, that's where the focus should be. Because listen, when folks are going through some stuff, Kevin, that's when they have the tendency to lash out at other folks. Not because their intention is to harm someone, but they don't know any better.
Well,
They've been
we see
pushed
that
into
with
a point.
retaliation shooting,
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah, but when the
Mental
shooting,
health, man. Mental health that's the number one thing they should be talking
right,
about.
when the shooting happens at the theater out there, and all these people were shot and all that.
Which I don't know what's going on in that
didn't-
town. They had a second mass
Yeah.
shooting this weekend.
The weekend.
Yeah.
Because you know what's gonna happen, Kevin? Let's be real, man. See, our government, they are not taking this thing serious. Right now, I'm gonna tell you,
Right.
I'm gonna tell you right now, they're grieving a little bit because we're having out in New Town. But see,
Well-
we need to right now, put this stuff into place
It's a-
Come down like a hammer.
and come
on
down
people
with a
that-
hammer, man.
Yeah, stop being
that's,
lenient to
you
these
know,
people. I mean, you
I
know,
know
they,
you
they're
know that-
free, but I'm telling you, I mean, it is free, and we talk about freedom in this country, but there got to be some
They
kind
gotta
of
be
a
go-
law
because you know
out
what's
there.
gonna happen, Kevin?
Freedom and responsibility need to go hand in
Yeah,
hand.
because you know what's gonna happen?
Do you remember? You know Len Bestoff at Channel 3 is a good friend of
Right,
mine.
right.
He did a terrific story about a week and a half ago about a gun dealer in East Windsor. It turns
I
out
saw that.
this gun shop is where Lanza, the Newtown shooter, bought one of his guns. The Hartford distributor shooter from
Yeah.
a year or so ago
Yeah.
got his guns. They had a guy walk in, and it was all
Yeah.
caught on video camera. Walked in and basically shoplifted an assault rifle.
And walked right
Went
out.
in, picked it up right off the counter, walks
But
out.
why do they have it in counters, though? Should they
That's
have
what I
it in-
said to him. I said,
you
the
know?
leather jackets at Lord and Taylor are more secure than these
Yeah.
assault rifles.
Yeah, why
At least
do
at,
they do
at least
that?
at Lord and Taylor, they have cables running
So
through.
you're
it.
right. It's about responsibility. Okay.
But what y'all fail to realize, what the underlying factor here, Kevin, is this. You got these gun owners. That your objective is to get the money. So if you wanted a straw rifle, how much your things go for, Kev? You have an idea?
I think 1,500, 1,800. They're not
$1,500,
cheap.
$1,800. So if you walk into those gun stores with $1,000,
You get whatever you want.
you get whatever you want.
And that's where the government needs to come down.
And that's why the government needs to come down, man.
And the assault. Why does regular people have those? Shouldn't be those people who are fighting in the war that have them,
It's
and
your
then
Second
after
Amendment
they
right.
and after they finish the war,
Hudson.
they leave them where they
Hudson,
belong.
hear me,
You would
hear me
think-
well.
you would
And
think
Kevin,
so.
and Kevin can attest to this. You know how many assault rifles and weapons that are out on the streets of Hartford right now?
Right, because you know what? There is no check at borders or anything like
No,
that. So people
no.
are just coming in with that.
So you could go down south, Georgia, Alabama, Texas,
Pick them up.
and buy any kind of gun you
And
want,
bring them
and
over.
you come right back up in Hartford.
Exactly.
Do you think when our forefathers passed the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms, and it was more to form a militia to defend ourselves if we needed to, it wasn't for everybody to be running around packing a 9mm under
Right.
their jacket. Our forefathers never, ever envisioned assault rifles and rocket launchers and everything else that are on the streets today.
Did you not cut you when you said rocket launcher? Did you see when they had this gun buyback program in California? They had free rocket launchers. They brought free rocket launches and talk about me telling these things. Can you imagine how many
What are you
gangs
doing
have those
with
things
them?
out in the street right now?
What is
They
people
have
doing?
And wait a minute, and that's rumored that they're here in Hartford.
Yeah, well, I'm not
Not
surprised.
rumored, they found them there.
I'm not surprised.
A couple years ago, they
Come
got
on.
one on Zion Street.
Right, I
And
remember
the guy
that.
had it all set. Can you imagine being a police
Was ready
officer?
to blow somebody out.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I tell you about our first responders. Man, you got to love our first responders because every day, their
And
lives
we got-
going.
and we got-
You never know what they're going to
We
encounter
gotta
out there,
keep praying
man.
for them.
Can you imagine
protection.
as a police officer sitting in your car writing a report on Zion Street
And somebody come-
and all of a sudden see a missile launched out of an apartment
you.
window into your car?
Oh, my
That's
God.
the stuff that's out there, and there's no.
We don't want to talk about
Those
that.
are illegal, but there's no reason for anybody to have that kind of equipment.
But
But
Kevin,
yeah.
when you talk about listen, see, you have a right to bear arms. Okay, we understand that. So you're not going to stop people from bearing arms. That's a given. But you can come down hard on criminals that are bringing these guns, that are selling these guns
Yeah, if you're
illegally.
not entitled to have
Yeah,
that
but-
gun, or you shouldn't have it in your possession, or you're walking around on the street without a permit to carry it,
Yeah, but how do you know? How do you know if he's carrying them around or not?
Jail cells.
Unless you have a point of check to see, just like you go through Canada, you have.
well,
to
we
do a
eventually
point of
find
check.
out because they're used in criminal acts.
Yeah.
Right after the fact.
Kevin, when you getting back to what you were talking about, look at this guy. I don't even want to talk about him, but I'm going to talk about him now. Alvin Lancer. Now this kid had a problem. That was obvious. This guy had a problem, man.
Yeah.
But yet and still, another factor that people fail to realize is that his mother was a victim too. See, you got to tell the truth about it. 27 people were murdered
Yeah.
by this man.
Right.
So when we talk about
But mom
People-
knew she had those guns.
that's what she knew he had that problem too.
His
And so
family
why
knew
do
he
you
was-
leave those guns out for your?
But but she also knew this boy had a mental health problem.
I think it was his brother that said the whole family knew he was a ticking time bomb.
All right,
on, man.
and nobody did anything. Nobody
Did you
anything.
hear this today, Kevin? That the guy, by him going to the gun range, he had to put the
He didn't want to damage his eardrums.
And then he ride earplugs when he went into the school and killed the
So who
kids.
said he was really mentally ill?
Yeah.
He
The
was
one
just
man-
a malicious kid that felt all alone and wanted to get back at people.
I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say this, and I hope you folks out there don't take this the wrong way. But I was pissed off. I was pissed off because, first of all, no matter how you look at it, murder is murder. He murdered 27 people. His mother, now maybe she had a fault, Kevin. I don't know. I don't know anything about the family history. I don't know. But to
It'll
just
eventually come out.
Yeah, but just to say this woman was not a victim is wrong.
She is a victim.
She is a victim.
She's a victim.
And the hardcore news to the thing is that Adam Lanza is a victim. Because, you know why? Because we should have done something. They should have done
He
something.
needed help.
He
and
needed
nobody
help.
helped him.
He
See,
needed
that's-
help. And that's what happened in a lot of these situations in Hartford. A lot
Yeah,
of these
because you
situations,
know what?
man.
As I always say, whenever there's a cut in budget, these are the program, the mental health program, the drug addictive program. These are the first program that they cut. Okay, so that shows you that they don't really care until something terrible like what happened
But it's-
just now happened.
It's the
okay?
old saying, though, but for the grace of God, that could be any one of us.
Any one of us. Exactly. And another thing too, Kevin, is this. I heard so much stuff now coming out by these so-called leaders of ours. I said so-called leaders because I'm not sold on you. I don't believe nothing you say because you haven't really shown me anything that could reflect my spirit that you're trying to do something to help people.
Yeah.
What you do is you sit in those offices, you go out there and you accumulate people votes, and then once you attain those offices, you do absolutely nothing. And it goes back to what you said too, Kevin. You the people out there. That sign said we the people. We are the one that have to stand up and make these people accountable
Right. So
for their actions.
We need to hold them accountable.
We have to.
Okay, but we need more people to hold them accountable.
But that's why I've been trying to be a lightning rod. Because see, man, the one thing that I've been advocating about against gun violence is that you can't put gun violence in the content. We're all affected by gun violence. I don't care where you live, what you have, how much money you have, gun violence don't care. Evil is evil. And people need to start looking at that, man. Evil is evil. And when you got people that have bad intentions, that's how evil predicated itself on you. Then stuff like what happened in Aurora, what happened down in Manchester, what happened over here down in Newtown, those things happen because you had these people that decided, okay, I had enough. And once they get to that point, they don't care about who dies.
But I don't think a rush to judgment by our lawmakers, all of a sudden we're gonna put more
We gotta
laws
do
on the
some more
books.
stuff in gun. Well, you see,
You
this
need,
is what,
you need to start rebuilding the fiber of our communities.
Right.
That's
You
what-
said the word.
and again, we talk about proactive, not reactive. This is what we as people in general do, and I don't react. I'm proactive.
I said, let me tell you something.
Okay.
Every time people look at me, right? Excuse me, Kim, I'm thinking I'm coming out with your cold, man. That's all right, though.
Yeah.
You're a good
We're
worker.
gonna be all sick when
But
we
this
do
is
it.
this is what people say about me. All he do is react. You crazy. I do more than react. I'm proactive and I'm reacting.
Proactive?
Because see, Kevin, no matter what you do when you're doing good work, people gonna try
You
to
always have something.
go ridicule it. But you know what? What I had to learn, and I hope somebody out here listen to have to learn the same thing. You can't be concerned about what people gonna say.
No.
But I'm on a task to get things
When
done.
you're doing the right thing, people always have negative to say.
Because
but
friend-
you know what? In your heart of heart, you know you're doing the right thing.
Just
Don't
like
worry about
right,
it.
know
just like
that.
Sagara. He's not my friend. He's not my enemy. But I'm gonna hold him accountable
Well, we
because
do
he's not
hold him
doing the work.
accountable.
He's not doing the work for the people here in Hartford.
We do
Because how can you
hold
be
him
in
accountable.
Hartford doing the work for the people here in Hartford, but you're more concerned about what's going on in Newtown, but you don't have 23 homicides
Hey.
happen every day, right here, every year.
Let's just temper that a little bit. We all had serious feelings about what happened in Newtown.
Of course
we
we
all
did,
felt
man.
terrible about it.
My God, man.
But you've got to realize where your place is and where you're going to produce more results. You know, that's-
The one thing that I can say about Newtown, I got to say this.
Give me his cups and that's
Thank you, Trish.
I'm gonna say this because I got to get this. One thing I can say about Newtown is that I had a chance to go to
Put
one
some
of
water
the,
in it, Trish.
I had a chance to go to one of those kids' funerals, and this thing was so terrible, man. Because you know how I feel about kids, Kevin. You know how I feel. And the thing about me, man, is I seen this little girl, this Sarah Parker. And I seen how beautiful this child was. I seen them beautiful blue eyes, and I seen that lovely face,
Little angel.
and little angel, and here we are. Now we talking about an evil act that came in now, and not only took 20 children, but 6 other beautiful women. And what are we doing? What do our leaders do?
First thing we're gonna do is,
The
as the session
grandstand.
starts, we're gonna talk about.
Grandstand,
And
man.
that's what, if you look at Sarah's family, how they ever handled it with the dignity they did.
I love that man. I love her father,
His
man.
father was,
Wasn't he awesome?
amazing.
He was amazing.
Well,
He was amazing.
you have to have strong faith to deal with things like that.
And he's strong man because he said this word. He said, "We're not going to let this
Is that a cup of
hinder our family
Jamaican
growth,
rum?
and we're going to do all we can
Thank
do
you.
to help other people."
You're welcome.
He even forgave Adam Lanza. Now, man, listen,
Sure,
man, listen,
man of faith.
and that shows you, man, Kevin. Number
of
one,
faith.
that's why our leaders should be the same way. Because
that's
that's not going to happen.
that's a
We
tough
know
one
it's
for
not
me.
going to happen. It's not going to happen. But let me ask you a Hudson a question. I know you've been advocating a long time, Hudson. I know you've been doing the same thing, Kevin. We stand on these corners. We try to bring a message to the people. I have one question, and I hope somebody can answer me this question. Why there is no concern for the people that live here in Hartford? But yet and still, when you look at Fresh Night, when you look at the skating rinks, and you look at everything else, the emphasis is on the people that don't live here. I can't understand that.
Well, that's in general. That happens in
I'm
general.
not saying that we don't supposed to do that, Kevin. But what I'm trying to say here, Kevin, if you're gonna say first of all, Hartford is a safe city, right? Let's make Hartford a safe city. How we do that?
Make it safe for our people
I
that live
think
here too.
we've got a chief that is
He's doing
intent on making it a safer
Okay,
city.
I looked at another
Which,
thing.
by the way, I just want to say, Chief Favela did move into Hartford this past weekend.
Good for him.
He's a Hartford resident now, so I congratulate him for being one of the few department heads that has honored his commitment and his contract to the city
But-
by becoming a Hartford
And
resident.
one thing I'm gonna say about Chief Rebellion too.
The point is, I've been living in this country for 35 years. And as I go along on my daily basis,
Are you legal?
do we always talk about we have to build it for the people from the suburbs to come?
Well,
Do we have, no, look, I went to the library yesterday for the jazz series, because I love jazz.
Mm-hmm.
And I look out there and I said, I could count the people that I know from Hartford there.
Right.
But the rest was filled. It was filled like Carnegie Hall with suburban people.
Exactly.
Now I'm saying, where is the disconnect here? We have so many things going on in Hartford, good things, but why aren't the people coming out to participate in these things?
Well, I think you have to look at part of it is.
I'm gonna tell you when I'm like Kevin said, but I'm gonna tell you why.
It all comes down to economic development.
Exactly.
There's not a lot of money left among people that have made the commitment to stay in Hartford. They don't have the extra revenue to throw around going out and going to dinner. And that's kind of, I think it's a little selfish on our part, but we kind of have to use the people from the suburbs to put Hartford back on a level playing field.
Yeah, but the series are
I agree
free
with
at
that.
the library though. It's free.
Because,
at that library.
but see what happened, you know what?
But how many
see,
people
I'm
know
gonna
about
tell,
it?
but I'm gonna tell
It's
you.
in the papers.
But I'm gonna tell you
It's in the
why.
papers.
I'm gonna tell you why. Because the truth is the people that live here in Hartford, they don't have any faith anymore in the people that
They probably
govern
never
the
had any
city.
faith in general.
But see what they won't do.
Now,
But what
I
they won't
think-
do. But what they won't do
No,
is they won't
want
come out and
people-
vote to change
no,
the perception.
They want people to feed it to them. Okay, you give it to them for free, and you're gonna feed it to them.
I don't
Okay,
think it's that
think-
severe. I think you assess your priorities.
It doesn't
There's
matter
plenty,
what
of,
schools.
there's plenty of parents that would love to spend an afternoon at the library listening to jazz, but they're more concerned probably with saving their children from the streets.
That's right, Kevin. You
And
really say the
making
word,
sure
man.
their kids are going in the right direction.
That's
It's
a
not
part
a
of it
luxury
too.
that,
That's a part of it too. But it goes back again to say the reason why our young people are so violent is because we as parents has lost control of our children. Okay, and the fact is, government has a lot to weigh in on that.
But see-
Remember years ago, we used to scold our children if they do something wrong.
You can't do it
Now
anymore.
the littlest one can tell you, "You touch me, and I'm calling."
But see, so what happened?
911, right?
But see what happened, how is it with that right there is the way that the way violence has been promoted. You know when you look at an urban child, you take a child, urban child and suburban child. You got an urban child here, and you got the suburban child. The suburban child lifestyle is much easier than this
because-
urban. Wait a minute, I'm trying to give you something. So when you say, okay, I want you to do this thing, like we talk about education. The suburban child, the application, where the parents, okay, you got to get this education because you got this family business, you have to inherit it, blah, 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 blah. An urban child is a different scenario. First of all, 9 times out of 10, the father's not in the household. So the mother has to work a job by herself to support the family. So now that means that in order to upbring this child the right way, the mother can't really apply the time that she needs to bring the child up the right way. So what happened? Either somebody in the streets or somebody, a relative of somebody, is responsible for that child. But what happened? They lose control of the child because now the child has to fend for itself. So if the mother trying to do the right thing, but she can't be there, then the person that come along with the child, and then the child is supposed to get to the street, then the child sees, okay, I can get out on the street and make $1,000 a day, and when I can go to college, wait a minute, I'm almost there, and I can go to college and set up in a college, and I'm not making $1,000 a day. So I want these things right now instead of saying this is a long-term
But when
plan.
you have
Does that make
children, you
sense?
gotta make them your priorities. You have them.
But
you don't just have them to say, okay, you have to have priorities. You have your little job. You make sure you take care of your children. You make sure they get what they need. It's not a matter of, okay, I'm gonna have the kids and anybody else. Hey, and look, remember.
Remember what I said about promotion?
This country,
You said when I- remember I
don't
said-
have the village we used to have.
Right. You
anymore.
know what I said about
grew up in
promotion
the
now,
village.
right? You know why? Because now, here we go. This is what promote violence right here in this country. First of all, the music that these kids listen to. From here on up. You know how many times you don't drove down the street, Kevin, and you see people pass you by with this mad, insane music. F this, B this, got a gun this, blah, blah, blah. That's going into these child's mind. Then they say these all the video games are not really relationship violence, a bunch of crap. Because if these kids don't go outside and play basketball no more, or baseball, or football no more, what do? They stay at home with these violent video games. They see these people dying, they killing people, they raping people, they robbing people, and then that don't affect their mind? Your way of thinking, are you insane?
But Henry, I think, and this goes back to what I said at the beginning of the program, that we need to rise up and start going against this. I think as urban residents, we automatically have an inferiority complex. That
Automatically.
we're substandard,
And we're looked
and we
at-
will
we're
accept
always
these
looked
things,
at down.
and
Say what you just said,
That's-
Kevin?
we'll
We accept.
we'll accept it.
That's right.
We don't go and fight for change.
That's
We
right.
don't go and say,
That's
what
right.
happens, do you think there's schools in Avon or West Hartford without toilet paper or hand soap?
Come on,
Absolutely.
Kevin. Absolutely not. Unheard of, man.
But in
But
Hartford,
in Hartford,
we could care less if the
right.
halls are
We're
swept
too
at the end
busy
of the day.
building more buildings.
Kevin, you
and
ever been
not
inside of
taking
Weaver
care
High
of
School? You ever
business.
been inside of Weaver? Have you ever been there? That's like a prison.
It's like a
to me.
prison with the
It's like a
signs
prison,
stenciled
man.
on the walls. But would the families in Farmington accept a school like that?
No.
Hell no.
No.
So the people need to stand up and fight for what they need. And I'm sick and tired of people feeling sorry for themselves. They need to get up and stand up and
Well, that's
fight.
what I said. We have an inferiority complex, and
Because
we
you know-
accept it.
You know why though? Because as long as there's people like you, and like me, that gonna fight for them,
They don't.
they don't want. They feel like, okay, I got somebody gonna do something, but that's the wrong perception,
Yeah,
man.
that is
You
wrong.
have to get up, man. You want some changes made for you and your family. I hope you hear me out there. So if you don't get up and fight for them, it's not gonna happen. You can sit at home and wish for thinking all you want. You have to get involved in what's going on in today's society, so that you can make sure that your child, if you want him to have the right education, he's in place to get the right education. If you want him to get the right vocational teaching, he's in the right place to get it. But whatever he want to do in life, I guarantee you, he's not going to get it if you don't fight for him. Guarantee you.
And why is it that we tolerate so much more money being spent per pupil for substandard education? When you look at what some of our suburban towns spend per year,
Come on, man.
and those kids are going to some of the best colleges in the country,
Come on.
or in the colleges in the world.
In the world.
And here we spend far more, and we tolerate a superintendent making almost $300,000 a year.
Don't do nothing.
That does exactly.
And look at the school dropout rate.
Yeah.
Why they're not addressing that?
That's what I said one night at a Board of Education meeting when the superintendent was looking for her bonus. I said, you're failing half the kids in
Come
Hartford.
on, man.
Almost 50% of the kids in Hartford don't graduate from high school. Now, when I was growing up, 50% on any test would be an F. You failed. I
Yeah.
said, you need to go
You don't
into
pass
your
them.
office every morning, look in the mirror and say,
Yeah.
I'm failing.
You don't pass them and say it's okay, you can graduate with an F and stuff like that. It's totally wrong. But these are what is happening to our society,
But
our children in the urban setting.
But it all goes back to what you and Kevin said before. It goes back to that leadership, man, that firm, strong leadership. Not about the personal agenda, but the agenda for the people.
How do you achieve that, though? If the voters aren't willing to do it on their own, maybe we can shame the mayor into doing the right thing if he's exposed for what he's doing wrong and people realize it. But how about electing some leaders that actually have leadership tendencies already in their DNA?
Because you know what? But see, Kevin, what's happening is this, Kevin. The people the problem, man, that's wrong here
I
at Hartford.
apologize for this.
That's all right, man. Don't
Yeah,
worry about it.
maybe you
Long
should stop talking.
as I don't catch it. But what's happening here, Kevin? What happened here? I goes back to the perception of the voting. The people won't vote for the qualified candidate. It's more or less if I know you and I feel like I can relate to you a little bit better. But you got to look at behind the person.
They support the same political
Throw
machine
the
that's
bone.
holding them back.
That's my
Throw
point.
the bone to
Exactly.
the dog and I'll, have that dog.
But you got to remember something out there, folks. You need to take that bone from that dog and bury it and go get your new bone. That's what we need to do, because we can't keep gnawing off the same old bone and get the same old meat and still we like that analogy, Kevin, you use when you're in quicksand. If nobody throw you a rope, what happens? You struggle, but you begin to sink. So if you keep on sinking, that means something's not right. So if somebody throw you a rope, what is your natural instinct? To reach out and grab that rope. And that's what we need now. We need somebody that we can look up to say, hey, this is the person that we should have for Maya. This is the person that we should have in this position. Now we have a good police chief in place. Now we got to get his balls got to be right.
But the other part is, Henry, and I love these conversations. I love talking about this, getting what your thoughts, my thoughts, Hyacinth's thoughts out in the open for people to actually think about. And that's something that doesn't happen nearly enough.
No.
I think everybody knows they're behind the curtain of silence. And most of what they do never sees the light of day. So this is things like this. We need to talk about these things, expose what people are doing.
That's
And
right.
the point is, it's not personal. It's the truth of what people are seeing,
Yeah.
You know what a guy said to me? Rev, you should be careful what you say about Newtown. I say, what?
You should be what?
I should be careful about what I say about Newtown.
Who said that?
Man, this guy telling me, you can't say too much about. No, it's not that you're talking about putting down Newtown. It's what you're trying to do to bring out the truth. See, the truth is what set us free, Kevin. See, we need to stop, man.
You know by now, a lot of people don't like the truth. They're afraid of the truth.
They're afraid of the truth.
That.
They're afraid of the truth. But the truth has to be told, man. Listen, it took this horrific act down in Newtown, man, to get these people to come to the realization that gun violence is real, man.
Yeah, but again, as I said,
Trish, how much? What do we have? 5 minutes?
we have to be proactive. We can't wait to for something to happen. When somebody see what the issues are out there and try to address it and nobody getting it addressed, and they wait until something terrible happens, then it's a reaction. It's listen, not a proactive.
I want you to hear me. After 300 funerals, after 300 vigils, after the numerous anti-violence rallies, after all those marches that we don't have to the state capitol, ain't nobody gonna tell me out there I'm reactive. I'm doing all I can do with the help and grace of the people that work with me, like you and Kevin, because y'all been involved with some of the stuff that I do. You can't let what people say stop you from doing what you have to do. But see, what happened here in Hartford is that the folks look for folks like you and me and Kevin to stand up and be the one to box and do all this stuff for them. Yeah. But do you realize what would happen if these same people that are criticizing, that criticize you, criticize me, if those people would not been so critical about what we were doing and would join in what we were doing, then we can change the perception of what happened.
It's not easy, Henry. There's a lot of
it's not.
A lot of things going behind the back scene, behind the scenes where people try to squash you and silence you.
Of course.
It's not easy. Hyacinth's been through it. I've been through it.
I've been through it because this is what I tell them, Hyacinth. I want you to hear me too, Kevin. You don't have to like me. I'm not here for you to like me. I'm here to do a job. And my job and my responsibility to make sure that we provide the necessary needs for these people. That's my job, to protect the pastoral counseling. Those people don't get this. If we wasn't doing it, where we going to get it from? These people don't have anybody that mentoring to them about you need to change your way of living. Where are you going to get it from if you're not out there talking to them about it? See, you got to understand something. I told Chief Rebella, and he knows that I told him the same thing. I said, Chief, I thank God that we're working with the police department because it has come a long way. And what Mothers United Against Violence is doing and the police chief is doing, listen, it's bringing about the changes that we need, but it's a slow process, but it could be even better.
Yeah, it's a slow process, but again, it's a process that never happened before.
But it's happening.
So it's really important.
But guess what people say, Kevin? Guess what first thing people say? All y'all out there ain't doing nothing. Snitching. Man, we try to improve our community.
Well, see, that's the problem. People think people are accusing other people of snitching.
Well, there's a level of responsibility. You've got to have some responsibility in the direction your community is going in.
Right, and you have to have someone that you can trust to tell the truth of what's happening.
What I like about Chief Rebella is this. He got a plan. He have a plan. And he's sticking to his plan.
Of course he does.
Because every other police chief we had,
he's got vision too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But let me say, he has a vision. So I have a vision, so I can relate to that. So if you're in a place where you put your vision in place and you push for that vision, good thing will happen. So as long as he stays with his vision,
make sure we're
out of time. So we'll be back next week with more controversial talk, I'm sure.
It's crazy. I love you guys.
Thanks for joining us.
Man, what happened to Mr. Pleasure today?